Here's the crazy part. What if the human you think you are doesn't actually exist? Sounds insane, right? But stay with me. From the moment you showed up in this world, you were trained to believe there's a real you sitting inside your head, controlling everything. A separate self you need to protect, perfect, and prove. But what if that you is nothing more than a clever story your mind keeps replaying? What if the pressure, the stress, the fear are all about defending a character that was never real in the first place? Yeah, that's the part nobody warned you about. This video isn't just another mindset shift, it's a complete reality check. Because once you see that the you you've been protecting isn't actually there, everything inside you starts to crack open. It's not about losing yourself, it's about waking up to the presence that's been there all along. And when you glimpse that, the real freedom kicks in. Ready for it? 1. The illusion of being human. Most people walk around thinking they're solid, separate beings with a history they need to defend. They cling to their name, their job title, and the memories they've collected like trophies. But when you really look closely, what you call yourself is more like a bunch of thoughts, memories, and emotions stitched together. It's like a highlight reel your mind keeps playing to convince you there's a consistent you behind it all. And yet, when asked to point directly to this self, it's slippery, like trying to grab smoke. Take a second and think about it. Are you your body? Your body's been changing since the moment you were born. Cells die and regenerate. The face you see in the mirror today isn't the same one from 10 years ago. Are you your mind? Well, your thoughts contradict themselves daily. One moment you're excited about life, the next you're doubting everything. If there was a real, fixed you, wouldn't it be more stable than that? This is the crack where the illusion of self starts to show. A great exercise is simply to sit with a childhood photo of yourself. Look at that kid. Is that still you? Your face changed, your voice changed, your beliefs changed, and yet there's this feeling that something has stayed the same, that something isn't the body or the mind. It's deeper. It's a silent awareness that's been quietly watching your life unfold, without taking sides or needing a name badge to prove it's real. Once you start seeing through the illusion of being human, the mind might freak out a little. It loves certainty. It wants to say, hey, I know who I am. But real freedom doesn't come from stacking more identities on top. It comes from peeling them away. And once you catch a glimpse of what's underneath, you'll start feeling something bigger than this human costume. And that's where things get really interesting. 2. Awareness exists without a person. Behind every experience you've ever had, there's been something quietly noticing it all. When you were 5, when you were 20, when you're sitting here right now, something has always been aware. But notice, it's not a person doing the noticing. It's not a character with a backstory. It's just pure awareness, steady and silent, no matter what chaos is happening in the mind or body. Consciousness doesn't need a name tag to exist. It just is. Imagine you're sitting at a coffee shop. You hear the buzz of conversation, the clink of cups, the smell of roasted beans in the air. All of it is happening, and yet there's a part of you that's just watching it without getting involved. That watching presence doesn't have an opinion about the noise or the smells. It just knows they're happening. This is the space of awareness that's so easily missed because it's always been there. Most people believe awareness belongs to a person, like a possession. But really it's the other way around. The idea of a person is something that shows up inside awareness, kind of like a dream character popping up inside a dream. You don't need to be anyone to notice it happening. You're not the dream character trying to wake up. You're the dreamer, the one consciousness flowing quietly behind it all. When you realize that awareness exists without needing a personal identity attached, something massive shifts. You stop trying so hard to hold it all together. You realize you were never the one spinning the plates. You were the space they spun in. And once you taste even a glimpse of that space, it opens the door to seeing how thoughts themselves aren't really yours either. 3. Thoughts appear without a thinker. Most people grow up believing they're the ones thinking their thoughts, like little workers assembling ideas on a mental conveyor belt. But if you pay close attention, you'll notice something weird. Thoughts just show up. You're not sitting there deciding, now I'll think about pizza, and then it appears. It just bursts into awareness like an uninvited guest at a party, and the mind, being sneaky, slaps a label on it. Mine. Here's something fun to try. Sit for a minute and wait for your next thought. Try predicting what it will be. Spoiler alert, you can't. It's like waiting for lightning to strike. You don't summon it, you just notice when it happens. Consciousness watches the mind chatter away, but the chatter isn't being manually typed out by some little version of you sitting at a desk inside your head. It's just arising out of nowhere, like bubbles in a soda. Think about the last weird random memory you had pop up out of nowhere. Maybe it was that awkward thing you said at a party 5 years ago. Did you ask for that to show up? Of course not. It floated into awareness without permission, dragging emotions with it. Spiritual awakening starts when you stop blaming yourself for every crazy thought and realize they aren't yours. They're just weather patterns moving through the mind. Once you really get that thoughts appear without a thinker, you start questioning this whole me thing even more. If you're not manually creating your own thoughts, then what exactly are you? You're not the thinker. You're the awareness noticing the thinking. And if that's true, what else about this human experience have you been misunderstanding without even realizing it? 4. Life unfolds without your command. Look around and you'll see it. Life is happening all by itself. Your heart beats, your lungs breathe, your hair grows, or maybe not so much anymore, right? Without you doing a thing. You don't sit there thinking, okay, heartbeat number 112, let's go. Life moves on its own rhythm, and yet most people walk around believing they're in charge of every little detail. The illusion of self clings to the steering wheel, even though the car's been on autopilot the whole time. Think about when you're driving and suddenly realize you don't remember the last 5 minutes of the road. Who was steering then? Sure, your hands were on the wheel, but you weren't consciously thinking, turn slightly left, adjust speed. It just happened. Consciousness was present, awareness was witnessing, but there was no you micromanaging it all. Life just flows, whether you're paying attention or not. Another great example is emotions. You can't force yourself to feel happy, sad, or angry on command. They rise up like the weather, often without any clear reason. One moment you're feeling fine, the next, something tiny triggers a tidal wave inside. If you were truly in charge, wouldn't you pick feeling amazing 24/7? Spiritual awakening is seeing how little control the ego actually has and how much smoother life moves when you stop pretending to be the boss. Realizing that life unfolds without your constant supervision is both terrifying and freeing. Terrifying for the ego that loves control, but freeing for the awareness that never needed control in the first place. And when you stop fighting the river of life, you start to notice something even stranger. The voice that's been narrating it all isn't even you. 5. The voice in your head isn't you. There's a voice that follows you around all day long, narrating every little thing you do. It cheers you on, criticizes you, doubts you, and then congratulates you all in the same breath. But here's the catch. If you can hear that voice, you can't be it. It's just noise passing through consciousness, like a radio station that never stops playing, even when you'd love to turn it off for a bit. Try this next time you're brushing your teeth. Just listen. The voice might say, you're running late, or you need to buy toothpaste, or did you really say that at work yesterday? It's endless. But notice, you're the one hearing those thoughts, not the one speaking them. Awareness stays the same while the mind chatters away, jumping from topic to topic like a hyperactive squirrel on caffeine. A simple exercise to really catch this is called mental noting. Throughout the day, just label thoughts as thought without getting pulled in. Driving? Thought. Cooking dinner? Thought. Worrying about tomorrow? Thought. You'll start seeing that none of them are really you. They're just clouds passing across the vast sky of your awareness. And the more you practice, the less power that voice holds over you. Once you catch on that the voice isn't the real you, a strange thing happens. You stop taking it so seriously. It becomes background noise rather than a command center. And when that background noise fades just a little, you'll naturally start wondering, if I'm not the voice, where is the real me? And that's when the search gets even more interesting. 6. Searching for you leads to emptiness. Most people spend their whole lives trying to find themselves, like there's a treasure chest hidden somewhere inside their mind, just waiting to be uncovered. But when you really sit down and start digging, all you find are shifting thoughts, changing memories, and flickering emotions. The you you're chasing is more like a mirage. It moves the closer you get. Awareness watches the chase unfold, but never joins the race. Here's a real experiment you can do. Sit quietly and ask yourself, where exactly is the real me? Look in your thoughts, your memories, your feelings. You'll find experiences but no permanent owner behind them. It's like peeling an onion. You keep removing layers, expecting something solid at the core, but when you reach the center, there's nothing there. And strangely, that nothing feels more real than anything you ever clung to. This realization can feel unsettling at first, like the floor just vanished under your feet. But don't panic. That emptiness isn't a loss. It's the opening to true spiritual awakening. You're not losing yourself. You're losing the illusion of self that was weighing you down like an old backpack full of bricks. And with that backpack gone, you move through life a whole lot lighter, a whole lot freer. Once you glimpse that emptiness where you expected to find a you, something beautiful happens. The constant pressure to be someone, to prove something, starts to dissolve. You begin to experience life directly, without the middleman of the ego narrating every moment. And right there in that raw openness, the door to real freedom starts to creak open. 7. Freedom begins when the story ends. The funny thing about freedom is that most people are chasing it by adding more stories to their lives. A better job title, a fancier car, a perfect relationship. They think these things will finally complete them. But real freedom begins when you stop playing that game altogether. When the story of who you think you are collapses, consciousness finally breathes without the weight of expectations pressing down on it. Picture carrying a heavy backpack everywhere you go. You get so used to it that you forget it's even there. But the moment you set it down, you feel light, almost like you could fly. That's what happens when the illusion of self starts to crumble. The endless mental chatter about who you need to be, what you need to fix, or how you need to look, suddenly it doesn't seem so important anymore. One small but powerful way to start loosening that story is this. Throughout the day, catch yourself whenever you use I am followed by a label. I am stressed. I am tired. I am a failure. Then pause and remember, those are passing states, not your real identity. Your awareness, simply experiencing those states. You're not the storm, you're the sky it moves through. As the story weakens, a strange but beautiful space opens up inside you. You stop reacting to life like you're under attack, and you start responding from clarity. And in that growing clarity, you'll notice something even deeper, that before all your attempts at becoming someone, there was already something perfectly whole, quietly waiting. 8. Being is before becoming. Before you learned to chase achievements, stack up titles, or fix yourself, there was just pure being. You didn't have to become anything to exist. You were already whole. That same awareness is still here now, buried under layers of trying, proving, and performing. Spiritual awakening isn't about building a better self. It's about peeling all that noise away and recognizing you've always been complete underneath it. Think back to when you were a little kid playing without a care in the world. You weren't worrying about your resume or your Instagram followers. You were just being, laughing, exploring, falling down, getting back up. No identity crisis, no illusion of self blocking the simple joy of existence. That innocence wasn't something you lost. It's something the mind covered up with years of trying to become something. A practical way to reconnect with pure being. Set aside time to do something with no goal attached. Go for a walk without counting steps. Paint badly. Zing off key. Let yourself exist without trying to produce anything valuable. It sounds simple, but it's powerful, because in those moments, you're stepping out of the story of becoming and back into the spaciousness of your natural awareness. And once you start remembering that being is always before becoming, a deeper realization bubbles up. If you're not the one constructing yourself, if life was already complete without your efforts, then what exactly is living through you right now? What's behind the curtain, pulling all the strings? The answer isn't something you figure out, it's something you realize, and when you do, everything shifts. 9. You are the presence beyond form. Everything you've ever experienced, every joy, every heartbreak, every random Tuesday afternoon has appeared inside the same vast presence. That presence isn't just aware of your life, it's what you truly are. Not a person drifting through a chaotic world, but the silent space where all of it comes and goes. Consciousness isn't something you have. It's what you are, timeless and untouched by the stories unfolding inside it. Imagine watching a movie in a theater. No matter how wild the action gets on screen, the screen itself never changes. It stays pure, untouched by the drama. That's you. Awareness is the screen on which all your experiences are projected, yet it's never stained by the good, the bad, or the ugly playing out on it. You were never just the character. You've always been the screen, vast, open, and eternal. One way to connect to this presence is to sit quietly and just notice everything happening. Thoughts, sounds, sensations, without getting involved. Don't push anything away or cling to anything. Just observe. Pretty soon, you'll sense that all of it is happening inside something much bigger, something that doesn't come and go. That something is your real identity beyond all appearances and forms. When you start living from the presence instead of the persona, life changes in ways you can't even plan for. Peace sneaks in, struggles lose their tight grip. You stop feeling like a tiny character lost in a giant, scary movie, and you start waking up to the fact that you were the theater, the screen, and the light itself all along. And somewhere deep down, you already knew this. You were just waiting to remember. If you want to elevate your vibrations and manifest with more ease, I have prepared something special for you. Click the link in the first pinned comment and join us in the journey of awakening your inner mage.